Hello, my gorgeous ghouls and goblins. Welcome to another episode of Kansas City Goth Coffee. Special guest with me. This is Kayla.
Hello.
Hello. And Kayla, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I have been a member of the goth community here in KC for about 5 years since I moved here. It was a great way to get into the community. Anastasia was wonderful when I first moved here. There's a good group here, so I came down up from Florida, and there was absolutely nothing there. So moving up here was a really eye-opening experience. Like, there's other people like me. Crazy stuff, but welcoming.
Well, good. And there's not a lot of goths going in the south, in Florida?
It's too hot for black.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, today's video is going to be about sclera contacts to start with. We're also going to do, because I'm stealing Kayla's expertise, she's very excellent with special effects makeup as well. And so we're going to talk about what scleras are, tips and tricks for putting them in, dealing with all of the complications that can come with that too, and also being safe. So just have to say the normal common sense stuff. So sclera contacts are contact lenses that fit over the entire eye. And so they can really enhance your look, whatever you're going for. They just take it to a different level. You know, they just take it from, oh, that's a cool outfit, to, oh, you're freaking me out.
Oh, they make you feel sexy.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, and it depends on what you're going for. And so they can really enhance you. But they shouldn't be worn for more than a few hours at a time. Eyes need to breathe, and so you don't want to get an infection. And so always check with your eye doctor about what your wear time would be, because some people have drier eyes than other people. Make sure that your contacts that you order are cleared by the FDA, because you don't want to get janky contacts that might have been made with plastics that aren't good for the human body.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of the sites online that you can find cheap ones. Don't.
Yeah. Save your eyes. Your eyes are very important.
You only get one set.
Don't take chances with your eyeballs. So we have 3 different kinds that are most, commonly used. We have the regular sclera, which covers the whole eye. Mini scleras, for those of you that might be a little bit more challenged with, sticking a whole thing in your whole eyeball. Or fantasy contacts that are just like normal contacts, but they are bright red, bright blue, black, things like that. Different cool designs. I know there's some that are cat eye, and it's really fun. So I will let Kayla go ahead and, talk about scleras and go down.
See, I didn't even think about the mini scleras. I should have totally brought some of those along too. First and foremost, make sure that your hands are washed, you're clean, good to go, because if you're poking into your eyeball, do it with a clean slate. So clean fingers. You shouldn't have makeup on. I'm going to do it with makeup on because, hey, this is YouTube.
And you're a professional.
All right. So we're going to blend. So what's a sclera and why is it named that? Because it has a funky name. Sclera is actually the name of the white part of your eye. That's the rest of your eye. That's not your iris and pupil. So a sclera contact covers your sclera. So pretty simple stuff there. A mini sclera, it is a larger contact than what you might be used to if you wear contacts. I do not wear contacts, so it was a learning curve for sure.
I bet.
So my hands are clean.
If you want to
we are going to sterilize everything.
Show how big it is, and everything. Things are huge.
They are intimidating, and they're typically thicker than normal contacts due to their size. So minus all the wetness, this is the size. Scleras, the size of them is quite large. We're looking at a contact that's this. The clear part in the center that you're seeing is for your pupil. So,
and as a, this is a regular fantasy contact, so there's the size difference.
Quite a size difference in between the two. That looks even worse on camera. I love
right?
it. So a regular set of fantasy contacts is usually 14, sometimes 15 or 16 centimeters, Jesus, millimeters. It's usually about 14 to 16 millimeters. Mini scleras are usually about 18, and full scleras are usually 22 millimeters. So you're getting quite a bit more. There's really a lot of YouTube videos for how to put these in, but to each their own. That's going to be different for how you prefer for each one. Again, do try to remember to make sure that everything's clean, because these puppies are difficult to put in. And if you do it wrong, you're just going to scratch your eyeball. Let's not do that. So the first tip that I got to put them in is clean hands. And you're going to try to put it in on your eye and shove it up underneath your eyelid. So
that makes sense, to kind of trap it.
Yeah, you're going to try to shove it up on there and then pull the bottom lid down and cap it over top.
Okay.
So that's here's the fun part, doing this on camera. Got another little mirror, so I don't have to look up into the camera up here. So folding it down, attempt number 1.
Attempt number 1.
All right. Attempt number 1. Up under the lid, and then let it float down under the bottom. Now, you probably couldn't see that very well because my fingers were in the way.
That's okay.
But you shove it up underneath the top lid, pull the bottom lid down,
and then
let it float
settle
down.
Yeah,
yes.
It'll settle itself.
So now we have this.
Yay!
So now I look like a demon. Hey. You do get a little bit of water, especially if you use extra.
Oh, absolutely.
Saline.
Even with contacts. So just have your, Q-tips ready or powder ready. Blot gently so you don't displace, your makeup.
Right.
And then you can add your little powder, maybe your, highlighter or whatever back on.
Right. Because you do want to make sure that they're really wet so that you kind of float them in. Mm-hmm. Because if you're putting them in really dry, you're like, oh, I can work with it better. It sticks to my fingers better when it's dry.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You're going to scratch your eyeball and it's going to be really uncomfortable. So when you first get it in, it's going to kind of settle and you'll be able to blink a few times and it'll move until it settles into the position that it needs to be. Mm-hmm. When it lines up with the pupil correctly, you won't be able to see where that clear part is in the center unless you're in really, really close quarters.
Because your pupil's black. So
right.
It just kind of fits over like a puzzle piece.
Right. So it really does change the entire look of everything that you have. It
just makes things a little bit more intense.
It do. So let's do the next one.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about longevity, shelf life, that kind of fun stuff.
Absolutely. All the responsible things.
Responsible things. Don't fuck up your eyes. Make sure it's nice and wet. And then let's pinch the sucker up under my eyelid again. All right. I'll try to stay in view this time, guys. And try not to blink.
Well, and for somebody who doesn't wear contacts, it's impressive that you have worked with it so much that you're comfortable with something like that. Because I wear contacts every day, and I couldn't imagine having that whole thing on my eye.
Did we talk about putting them in? I don't think we did. We didn't talk about making sure your contacts flipped the right way.
Oh, yes. So every contact has the right way and wrong way. So the right way, it looks like a bowl. The wrong way, it kind of looks like a bowl, but the edges are kind of turned the wrong way. And oh boy, your eyeballs will let you know if it's in the wrong way.
All right. So blot afterwards.
Yeah, don't wipe, just blot. Because
especially if you're wearing makeup.
So much makeup.
But like I said when we started, do it before you put your makeup on. So now let's talk about longevity, wearing these puppies, and making sure that everything's in its place. So making sure that you're taking care of your contacts. Let's talk about storage. And if you wear contacts normally, you probably know the drill by now. But if you don't, and you're like me, and this is all a new kind of ball game that you're into, make sure that you don't keep your contacts for over a year. Mm-hmm. They do have a shelf life.
Yes.
I know that some of them you can get on some websites, even if they're FDA approved, they'll say they'll last X amount of years. May not necessarily be true, especially if you're wearing them more frequently. Even if you're wearing them infrequently and you think, I could save these. I only wear them once a year. Mm-hmm. Don't.
Yeah. They'll start to dissolve. They start to break down. They'll dry out. And so you're, let's say you're an hour into whatever event you're in and your eyeballs, and they'll actually fall out of your eyes sometimes.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, and bye.
Or they'll make your eyes burn.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
And I'd rather them fall out of my eyes than make my eyes burn. I think everybody that's ever had SFX contacts before, you've kept them for the first year, like, oh, this is great. And then another year goes by and you're like, I haven't worn them and I kept them wet. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're good.
Exactly.
So do replace your contacts. Scleras are kind of expensive. I do understand that. But do take care of your eyeballs. They're way more important than a pair of scleras.
Yeah.
So making sure that they're in a safe, clean container. So your containers, you actually should change every so often because bacteria does get in them.
Once oxygen hits it, bacteria grows.
It's done. Use this is a generic nondescript bottle, hashtag not sponsored,
Yeah.
of saline solution. So make sure that you're using a good saline and cleaning your contacts before and after putting them in. You don't want to mess up your eyes. We're going to say that a lot over this video.
A lot. It's just really important. I mean, you don't want to be, you know, everything like you put them in dry or, you know, whatever, and you're not, you know, paying attention or whatever, or you saw a TikTok or something and like, oh, here's a hack. No hacks. No hacks. None. No hacks.
There are no hacks with your eyeballs.
No.
With your eyeshadow, sure, there's some
Absolutely.
There's some cool stuff out there, but don't mess around with your actual cornea, okay?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So once you have it stored, make sure that you have it in a good, clean container. Change your containers. If you are planning on keeping them for a year, change your container every once in a while. Every month, every 3 months, which is every quarter. Do try to have a backup. They're cheap. You can get better ones, okay?
Oh, yeah, Amazon. I got a giant bag of contact cases.
Did you?
During the pandemic, I got a bunch of pairs of FX contacts and mine are over a year old. That's why they're going to go away. But, you know, I was one of those people and, you know, that was like, well, I've only worn them once or twice, you know, because during the pandemic, didn't have any events, but got the contacts because that makes sense.
And it's okay.
But yeah, they got to go away because I noticed the last time I wore my dragon's breath,
they burn?
Yeah, they started to burn.
That's not a good
And
sign.
so I'm like, well, all right.
See, we all do the same thing.
And I'm also the type of person to wear my monthlies for like 6 months. Because I'm poor. I'm a poor. And I don't want to, you know, there's nothing wrong with them until there is. And everything's cool until it's not. And it does. It flips on a dime. They're just like, okay, nope. And so mine went nope. So there I just, gotta get some new ones, darn it.
Try not to hit the nope stage.
Right. Yeah.
But if you do hit the nope stage, don't go past that stage.
Yeah, let them go. Let them go.
That's it. So storage, keep them clean. If you're keeping them in a nice, dry, safe place, check the fluid once in a while. And do not try to rehydrate your contacts.
I've done it. I've tried before. They'll never be the same. No. Just let it go.
Guilty too. I have tried to rehydrate a green pair. No. What's with the green one?
I don't know.
Of contacts, and it works. They become little contacts again, and they instantly make your eye burn. And they're almost gelatinous in texture. Don't do it. I put it in. I was like, why did I do this?
Yes, let us elderly people help you understand. Don't do that because we've done it.
Yep. We have done every mistake on the book. Yes. Just let us have our space.
We're trying to help you.
All right, so storage, make sure it's clean. Make sure you water them like a plant that gets neglected. And throw them out when they're old. It's really not a hard process. You just really got to make sure that you're following it.
And practice. If you have issues, I remember when I first got contacts, it took me 2 hours at the eye doctor. He said, you have to put them in, take them out, and put them back in again. And I was like, okay. 2 hours later, I'm crying.
Oh, no.
But I did it. And, you know, because I was going to wear contacts because, I mean, it was the late 80s. And I had Coke model glasses, the big, fat, thick plastic ones. Nice. Oh, it's terrible. And I was like, I'm getting contacts and that's it. And so, yeah, but you just got to practice.
You're not going to get and especially with scleras, you're not going to get them in the first time. That's what she said. It takes some time. If it helps, hold up your top lid, touch the white of your eye with the side of the contact and slide it up under the lid. Then use your other finger and open up your bottom lid and it'll suction down to your eye. It takes a few tries. You're not going to get it in on the first try like I did. which I'm even impressed at myself.
Right?
If you're really hardcore into wearing scleras too, I think they do make astigmatism scleras because they're weighted on the bottom to kind of keep them from rotating. And there are also scleras that are like the big cat eye, so that way that your sclera is colored like yellow or green or blue or whatever, dragon colored, and then the irises will be up like this. The problem is with those, if you don't get a weighted pair, your iris is going to start moving and it's going to start rotating, and you're going to be a crisscross-eyed kitty in just a little bit. These are not weighted, but they're just solid black, so they can rotate freely. But if you get those other ones, just make sure if you're getting a weighted pair, so that way you're constantly cat eye instead of gooky eye. Yeah.
Look like a weird cat. One of your eyes is this way, the other one's this way.
Instead of meow,
they're going this way. Go that way.
Looking like an alien cat.
So, yeah. So, all right. Well, anything else you can think of for the sclera? Oh, taking them out.
Oh, taking them out's the easy part. So, let's talk about taking them out. All right. Opening my nice little container back up. We're going to do a two-part process here. I am going to refill this. Okay, so everybody that's new to contacts, there you go. And I do have everything down here to wash them and then put them back in. Don't just be like, all right, and then pop them in. That's usually a recipe for bacteria.
Yep.
So, all right, taking out the first one. You can usually take these out pretty easy. Grab your eyeball. This looks horrible on camera.
Right.
Pinch and just pull it right on out. These are super easy to grab when they're in your eye, so usually pretty easy to take out. So then let's wash it up and grab the other one. Loop it right back in, and we're going to wash it when it comes back out, and you use them the next time anyway. So make sure that it's clean in, clean out, because you never know what's left in your container in the first place. All right, dry off my finger. We're going to pull down this lid, grab my eyeball, just pull it right out.
Yay!
It's the easiest part. Putting it in is like rocket science.
Yeah, right?
I had to watch so many YouTube videos, like, how did this person do it? And they're like doing this, and they have a thing where they lift up their eyelid. But it's like a small suction cup tool you can use to hold it so that way you're not touching it with your fingers. So it is a little bit more sanitary as long as you keep your damn suction cup clean. So make sure that if it's touching your eyeball, just stay clean, folks. It's easy. All right.
All right. There we go.
Ta-da!
All right, Kayla, thank you so much for coming in and demonstrating scleras.
Yes. I'll see you on the flip-flop.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, my little. I will see you next time on the next episode of Casey Goth Coffee. Mwah!